I've done some unusual model railway layout shoots in my time, but now this is a very special location. If you're thinking you haven't got space for a model railway, then I'm about to prove you wrong.
Hello, my name is Keith Lodge. My wife and I live on a narrowboat called Hadarford, and this that you can see in the background is my model railway called Hadarford, which we have built inside the narrowboat in the section of the hold where we used to carry and sell coal. I started building the layout in 2018, more or less had it finished by last year. It is a narrow gauge railway, 009. It is totally freelance out of my head. It's based around nothing really, but the major part of the layout is the canal scene, which is as an accurate a representation I could get of a Grand Union Canal. Of course, there is no narrow gauge railway running by the Grand Union Canal, but that is licensed that I'm allowed to do it because I'm building my model railway. I've gone for a colour scheme of British Railways crimson and cream because I like that scheme. I come from that era when railways were those colours. I think it's a very nice colour scheme. There are elements of the layout which you have to look very closely to see the detail, but they are there because I like to include everything that should be in a scene. As you can see to my right, there is quite a large area of woodland. In fact, on the whole layout there is in excess of 510 trees. It sounds a lot, but there are a lot of trees out there in real life. The challenges of building on a narrowboat is, first of all, it's not level. This boat is actually bow high, and part of the problem I had was creating the canal scene. We had to actually wait until the boat was in dry dock and sitting level before we could pour the resin in to create the canal scene. Otherwise, had we done it on our mooring as we are now, it would have all run to one end, which wouldn't have been very good. It is limiting in the space available. The boat outside is 6'10" beam. Within the dimensions, it is about 6 foot. This was one of the major reasons why I decided to go for 009, because the amount of room I needed for curves within the boat. It's actually built down two sides of the boat, the main layout being on one side, the other side being the fiddle yard. But I also had to take into consideration the fact that it is the only way that we can get large appliances out of the boat, such as our washing machine and the fridge freezer, have to come through this railway room. So all this had to be taken into account when designing and constructing the actual layout, that we could still get these appliances through. You can't use a spirit level. Spirit levels don't work on boats. Accurate measurement of just getting the baseboard at an even level, down to the correct length of the legs, etc. It had to be more accurate than you would say in a house where you can fortunately use a spirit level. The main area of detail of the layout is the canal. Canals have been part of my life since I was 15. As I've mentioned, we already live on a narrowboat. It was a working narrowboat, a replica that I had built. We actually have a model on the layout of Haydar with models of myself and my wife Jo standing on the back. The lock is as accurate a representation I could get of a Southern Grand Union lock. That is the Grand Union from London to Braunston. The pair of working boats in it are Langley models, which are a very good representation of working narrowboats, what they call a small woolage class, motor and butty. But the detail that I have put into them is the strings that hold the sheeting up are actually tied accurately with the right knots using ordinary sewing cotton and a needle. But the transfers that I had specially commissioned by Fox Transfers are an accurate representation of the sign writing on the back of the cabins. The actual layout of the canal itself, amount of the detail is as close as I could get to what canals are like, down to the concrete piling, which has the ordinary rails, railway track rails along its length. The layout itself is, I would say, 99.9% finished. I will probably be adding more stock in time, although I have quite a large range of stock already. There is always something else that I can find which I think would suit the layout. I do like my road vehicles. I like collecting the road vehicles. I have quite a good range which we can swap around for different scenarios. I've got a lot of animals that I've put on the layout. Cats, there's a lot of cats on the layout. There's a lot of cats in real life, and putting them in the right poses can be challenging, but there's a good range available on the market, and providing you can match them with the right people, it all blends in rather well. I think that's something that I've been able to achieve, is buying ready-made models but siting them in such a location that they marry together. Like, I have a young couple with their border collie. They're looking at the two narrowboats. The border collie is sitting down on the ground beside them. It's such just a natural pose that you would expect to see. The two people and the dog didn't come together. They are completely separate items, but they just marry together in the situation.